Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is the next video in the live conversation series with UiPath aspirant. In this series, we are talking to the UiPath aspirants. This is a live recording between me and someone who is trying to get into UiPath technology. In the previous videos of the series, we have seen what is RPA. We have tried to understand what are the basic components like Studio, Orchestrator. We have seen the type of workflows, variables. Then we tried to build a shopping robot. Then we understood how do we use arguments, variables, flow activities, full versus partial selectors, and we tried to solve one assignment from the academy as well. So in case you are a beginner and you need any assistance with any of these topics, I'll put the link of the playlist in the description and you can refer that. Also, in case you want to have a live conversation like this with me, you can always drop me a note on the email ID which is mentioned in the description, or you can directly ping me. Having said that, let us see the agenda for this video. In this video, we are going to explore the common properties which are available for all the UI elements. We'll start this video by exploring a little bit about selectors, that what exactly are selectors, how they are made, and whenever we interact with the UI elements, when I say UI elements, wherever there is a user interaction involved, what are the common set of properties that are applicable to all the UI elements. So that is what we are going to explore in this video. So let's get started.
Mm.
Okay, so now before starting the selectors and today's topic, I want to ask you what is the difference between a partial and a full selector?
The difference between partial and full selector.
Yeah, we have covered
Uh,
that in last video, right? And it's no
yeah,
need to be a exact answer, but I just wanted to know that you are getting something.
yes. I think both of them are being applied in two different scenarios
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to the recording.
Okay.
Like for the basic recording,
Mm-hmm.
you have full selectors there,
Mm-hmm.
and for the partial for the desktop recording, you have partial
Selector,
uh,
right?
select.
Right
And
side.
then another difference is that I think for the partial recording, you can edit the attributes in the properties panel.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Then
No,
for
no,
the no for the partial, you cannot edit. I think I'm twisting
no.
things.
Okay, okay. So
Yeah,
just
for
I have shared you the links, right? So I would say that go ahead and read those links, and I will share one tutorial very soon, or you can just refer to the recording also. Okay. And one
mm,
more thing, which is faster, desktop or the basic? Partial selector would be faster, or the full selector would be faster?
the
Like,
desktop will be faster.
okay, okay. Desktop will give you a partial selector, so it would be faster, correct?
Yeah.
Right? So
Mm.
basic will give you a full selector, so that every time we'll have the parent attribute, so it will be slower. Okay, so we have all seen in the previous videos. Okay, so now you will see whatever we are talking, where we are always talking about the selectors, right? So what is a selector? A selector is can you just tell me what do you understand by selector, rather than me
Okay.
defining selector? Yeah.
Selectors. How do I define this now?
Okay, anything, what comes to your mind, that what is a selector, how you can see on the
Mm.
screen, and then you can
Mm.
tell.
Selectors. I know it's a powerful UiPath Studio tool.
Mm-hmm,
I think that is used to easily identify
mm-hmm.
uh, uh,
The
how do
elements,
I
correct, you are going correct. So
yes.
so today in this session we are going to cover the selectors. Okay, we are going to see the UI explorer and how do we mitigate the certain things. Okay, so that is the agenda for this thing. So let me just quickly start by going to a PPT which we have also seen in the last session. So I will quickly move forward just to give you a brush up that what exactly it is like. Okay, so how does a postman delivers letter to everybody home, right? Because the postman is having the address, correct? So the address
Yeah.
is like country, then the state, then the city, then street, and then the house number. So by this, using this address, the postman is correctly able to deliver the letter to the correct house or the correct person, right? Similarly, in UiPath, if I have to instruct UiPath that, okay, UiPath, you have to go ahead and click on this submit button, or you have to go ahead and click on this home button. So UiPath will ask me what is the address, right? So how does UiPath identify any element? When I say element, this is the UI elements. That means that is the user interactions. So that is not like address, that is the UI, user interaction, right? So what are selectors? Selectors are generated automatically when an activity integrates with a graphical user interface. That means wherever you have to click or select the value from the drop down or key in something on a GUI, then selectors come in picture. A selector in UiPath Studio is made up of tags and attributes. We will discuss on this today. Okay, so this is how the selector look like, right? So you have seen this. So can you tell me what this selector? This is a full or this is a partial selector? What do you think? The selector which
This
are
is a full. It's a full
okay,
selector.
awesome, awesome, very good. So this is a full selector, right? And by
Yeah.
looking at selector, can you just guess what might the selector would be doing? Just read and can you just guess? I want to see if you are able to guess the what this selector would be. See, you have not seen the automation. I have also not seen the automation. So let us just try
Mm.
to guess what is this selector? What would be it doing?
What the selector will be doing?
Yeah, just looking at the
Like,
selector.
yeah, like for this outline now, you have like 3 stages.
Mm-hmm.
So I think at every stage it identifies an application like this notepad
Mm,
dot
right.
exe
Right. So it is looking for notepad, then it is having file, and then it is
file.
looking for the save button, control plus S, right? So as a
Uh,
human also we can read it, right? So similarly, how UiPath identifies that whenever I put this selector in any of the UI element, UiPath will go to the notepad, it will go to the file, and it will go to the save. So similar to an address, right? So this is what a selector is. So this is the selector. Now the top one is called the root node. Okay, so the top node, the first line, as you can see on the presentation, this is called the
mm,
root node. Okay, and the last
mm,
one is the actual identifier. So see, if I ask you in a notepad, where is the save button, you will say it is inside the file and save, correct? Where is the open
yes.
button? Where is the open button? It is again inside the file and then open, right? So this root node is same, only changing, what is changing is the actual identifier, right? So
Mm,
every time I do anything on the notepad, the root node would be always same. The actual identifier means what exactly operation it has to do. So let's say if I want to open a notepad, right? So this is a notepad, right? So every time this window would be same. So if I want to click on the save button, so this is the save button. So for me the actual identifier will be now save. If I click on the exit, so the actual identifier will be the exit, and the top window is called the root node. Okay, this is important because one, whenever UiPath generates a selector for us, UiPath only put the root node and put the actual identifier. UiPath do not put the intermediate contents, right? It directly puts the root and the actual identifier. We'll see all of this, right? So just to understand, the top one is called the root node and the last
no,
one is called the actual identifier. Okay, okay, now
mm,
let us see how exactly the selectors are made. Okay, selectors are made up of nodes. Okay, so the last line is the actual identifier and the upper lines are called the parents and the first line is called the root node. So we have seen this. So the last line would be the actual identifier, this is the parent and this is the root node, and all of this, though how many nodes, 1 2 3 nodes, right? So in a
mm,
selector we can have multiple level of nodes. So all these things are known as nodes. So as of now, if you will see, there are 3 nodes, 1 2 and 3 nodes. The top node is called the root node and the last one is actual identifier. Okay, so each node is made up of tags and attributes, right? So we have seen a selector is made up of nodes 1 2 3, and each node is made up of tags and attributes. Okay, so this is called a tag, and so the first one is called a tag. right? So a tag can be a window application. So for example, where is the notepad? The notepad is located inside the windows, right? So that's why
Yeah.
that it is coming as WND. So for example,
Okay.
if you are automating anything on the web page or a browser, then your
Mm,
tag will be HTML. Okay. And
mm,
similarly, if you are doing something on the Java thing, so it would be Java. So looking at the tag also, we can guess that, okay, what is the kind of selector we are dealing with. Okay. So this is called the tag. Okay. And these all are attributes. So this is the tag and this is the attributes. Okay. Any questions here on the node?
no, no question.
Okay. Okay. So we will talk about reliable and the non-reliable a little bit later. Now, okay. So if I ask you that you have to create an automation, okay, and I will create a sequence, okay, and if I ask you that you have to create an automation and you have to click on uh, on this button, on the file button, okay, so
Mhm,
what will you do? You will go ahead and go here and do the recording, right? So what
mm.
else we can do is, so for example, what do you think, which activity should I use to click on any item? Which activity
Uh,
will I take?
to click on any item,
Yeah.
like, do they have like a click activity?
Yeah, we should have, right? So I just type here click and this is it, right? So there I have a click activity. Can you see? I will
Okay.
just drag
Yeah.
and drop it here. And where should I click? So let us just try try to write the steps, right? So we want to click on the file, okay? And then we want to type something here, right? So let us try to type something here. So I have to click on the file. So what is this indicate on screen? It is telling me where do you want to click. Okay. So I will go here and I will
Mm,
say I want to click on the notepad. So it will ask me where. So I will click here and it has taken this thing. And if you go to the properties, okay, it is having in the target, it is called something having the selector. Okay. So if I just run
mhm,
this automation now, run the file, okay, it will go ahead and click on the file button. See, just wait, and it is not, see, click and it has clicked on the file button, right? So how it was able to identify correctly? Because UiPath has generated a selector for me, right? This guy, UiPath has generated a selector for me, right? So now wherever we are doing any interaction with the screen or the robot, UiPath will have a selector. So we have seen this in the previous sessions that wherever we are doing UI automation, we will have something called selectors. Okay. So now you
mm,
will see there are some of the common properties which are always associated with the selectors. So what are those? For example, okay, I want that if I click on this file item, okay, so this is taking some time to load. Okay, so I want to wait for 3 seconds after clicking on this file button. Okay,
mhm,
so what
mm,
I want to do is I want to click on the file, and then after clicking I want to wait for 3 seconds, right? So for every properties, right? So if you go here in the UI automation, right, so today we are the topic we are going to discuss about is the UI automation, right? So if you will
mm,
see, if you type UI here, UI automation, these are all the things which are provided by UiPath. Okay, so for example, if you are doing a browser automation, so you will go here in the browser and you can see all the options which you can use, right? Open browser, go home, go forward, go back, close tab, right? Similarly, when
mm,
you are doing a notepad kind of thing, all these things will be available here, like minimize, maximize, show the window, and all the everything. Let's say this click and all you will get inside here in the events. The wait, let me in the mouse. See, so where exactly you can find all the elements? You can find everything on the inside this UI automation. Okay, so you don't have to go every time and go to the recording. You can just come here and look for the activities. So as of now, if I want to click here, I just search here click. So where exactly the click would be? Inside the element, and here in the mouse there is click. If I want to double click, I can use double click. If I want to hover something, I can use the hover activity, right? So if I
Mm.
want to, let's say, type something, right? So what do you think? Which activity should be available to type something?
Um, type activity.
Okay, so let me just search type. Okay, see, we got an activity called inside the
Type.
keyboard type into, right? So it is in
Yeah.
UI automation element and keyboard. So I will drag and drop a type into. Now type into will ask me where exactly do you want to type, right? Simple,
Mm.
right? So if I ask UiPath that where exactly you want to type, I will go to my notepad and point it to this guy. Now it will ask me, what do you want to type, right? So I have to put the text here. So let's say I want to type hello. Okay, let me just delete the previous one and see. And if I go here and run the file, okay, and it has typed hello, right? So
Mm.
all this, so now see, whenever we use this activity, UI automation activities, so these are all the where exactly I can find all the activities under UI automation. Okay, here all these activities, keyboard, mouse, everything will be available. But for every property there are some set of activities which are common to everything's, right? So these are all the settings. Can you see? These are all
Yeah.
the type of settings. So as a beginner you should understand. So if I ask you what is this wait for ready, do you know what is this? So every property, every element, wherever you drag and drop something on UiPath Studio, it will have these properties in common. So these properties are common. Okay, so
Okay.
we should be aware that what exactly these properties are. See, most of this property you already know. For example, if I ask you for the type into activity, what is this selector? Do you understand what is this
Yeah.
selector now? You understand it, right? Because this selector is allowing UiPath to correctly identify the element. Okay, now
Mm.
let's go by one. Let us go by this first. I will collapse everything and we will see this everything one by one. Okay, so let us go by the common. I will just park this for a later. So what this thing is, delay after and delay before. So delay after and delay before means if you want to pause the automation for some time. Okay, so if you
Mm.
remember in the previous automation, in the previous session, we have seen an activity called delay
Delay
activity,
activity.
right?
Yes.
So the
Mm.
delay activity, every time what I have to do, I have to, every time we have to do like this, right? So we have to drag and drop and delay, then put the time. So what UiPath says that whenever you are doing any UI automation, user interface automation, and if you have to put some delay, you can use these properties. Okay, no need to put the delay like that. Okay, we see in the previous session, right? We can use this property. So delay after and delay before. So
So,
delay after, if I put here 3000, okay, that means when I run this automation, wait it will type and then it will wait for 3 seconds. So delay before means if you want to wait the automation for before performing something. So you understand before and after, right?
yeah.
Right, so if I put here 5 seconds, so how much time it will wait before proceeding the automation? It will wait for 5 seconds, right?
One second.
And
Okay.
what would be the scenarios when we use delay before? For example, okay, for example, let's say you are doing any automation on this website, okay, and I click here and this drop down is coming, right? I click here
Mm.
and this drop down is coming. Now assume that this drop down is coming after 10 seconds. Okay, so you click
Mm.
and then after 10 seconds this drop down is coming, right? So if you will put if you'll do not put the delay, so UiPath robot will click here and then it will continue searching for this button. But since it is not available, UiPath will give you an error saying that I was not able to find the element. But what we can do is we can let the activity wait for some time here, delay before, delay after, like this, and then the automation will work. So do you understand this now? Delay before and
Yeah.
delay after. Okay,
Yeah.
so the next thing is the display name. So display name, what is this name, right? So I told you
Mm.
about the best practices, right? So if you will see, this is generic type into editable text, but what exactly we are doing, we are typing something on the notepad. So the name would be type into notepad, right? So by that way I just change this thing, type into notepad. So this is a best practice. So why we are doing this? Because in future if the bot is breaking, it will give me this name only, type into notepad, so you can easily guess that okay, this is the error. Okay, now let me just go ahead to, I'll quickly cover the other properties. So this is the display name. Now I will come to the input. Under the input we have something called the selectors. Do you understand selectors?
Yeah.
So the selector is the address of the notepad, right? Now this is a very important property called timeout, right? So what happens is whenever you run this automation, UiPath will look out for some time, right? So what do you say if I tell the postman that you have to deliver a address, right? And if the address is incorrect, so what do you think, should the postman be searching for the address lifetime, or should he just wait for some he look for some time and then come home, right? So
Yeah.
he should look for some time, right? So let's say 1 day 2 day he will search, and then after that he will say that okay, I'm not getting the address, I am not doing this task. Similar thing happens with the UiPath keeps searching for the element only for 30 seconds. Can you see? The default timeout is 30 seconds. So this is the property. But if you feel that you want to increase this timeout, we can always go here and increase it to, let's say, I want to increase it to 45 seconds. So I will type here 45,000. So now the timeout would be 45,000, right? So now what is happening in your case? So your one automation is breaking. So let's say I have instructed the UiPath to print into the notepad. Okay, so the notepad is not available now, right? So is the notepad available on the screen? No, right? Now if I go ahead and run this automation, what will happen? So let us go to the properties and see. So if I go here, we are telling UiPath to type something here, right? So what UiPath will do, let us just run the file. So UiPath will start the execution. Okay, it has started the execution. It will keep looking for notepad for how much time? 30
For
seconds.
okay, 30 seconds.
30 seconds,
Wow.
right?
Okay.
Right, so within 30 seconds, if it is able to find the element, it will type hello. If it is not able to find the element, so in our case it will not be able to find the element, so it will give an exception, right? It will give an error that this is the error, what should I do now? So it will break. So similar thing is happening with your automation also, right? See, what is this? No window found for notepad.exe and selector was not found, right? So now let us see what happen if I run the file. Now I can stop the automation, right? So now it gave me an error. So now within 30 seconds, if we are able to, match this selector, then it will work. So for example, if I again run the file, the bot is running, right? The bot is running here. See, and I quickly open a notepad, right? I will open a notepad, right? See, it was successfully able to type, right? Because within 30 seconds we opened the notepad. So now do you understand the concept of timeout?
About milliseconds. Yeah.
Right, right. So as of now it is just waiting for 30 seconds, right? So let me just change this to, uh 5,000. So now what will happen is it will only wait for 5 seconds, right? And within 5 seconds it will give the error. So I have reduced the time to 5 seconds. So it will, bot will start the processing. Okay, it will look for 5 seconds only. 1 2 3 4 5 seconds, and it has given the error, right? The default timeout is 30 seconds, and this is a interview question for you, that what is the default time for UI automation activities? The default timeout is 30 seconds. So if I just remove everything, it will again go back to 30 seconds, but you can increase or decrease it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, now let me just come back again and come to the top. There is a property called continue on error. Okay, so what is the type of this variable? Can you check the variable type? What is the variable? Boolean,
Boolean.
right? So
Yeah.
what should I put here? In the Boolean, it would expect if I write my name, will it take?
No.
So what should I write here? Either true or either false, right? So continue on error, that means that if this activity, okay, if this activity encounters an error, should I continue or not? Okay, so continue on error, that means that if there is an exception here, so the default value of Boolean is what I told you, the default value for Boolean is
False.
false, right? So as of now we
Yeah.
have told UiPath that if you encounter any exception, so you do not continue, right? But if I just tell UiPath that if you still encounter an exception, okay, continue on error equal to true. That means now even if the selector is not found, UiPath will not give me any exception. So let me show it to you now. I am running the file. There is no notepad open on the screen. Okay. It will wait for the 30 seconds, but it will not give you the error, right? It will not give you error. It will say, okay, the error was there and UiPath, you have instructed me to continue. So I am continuing the error. Okay. So it will not continue the error. So it will just uh, running. It will keep looking for 30 seconds. After 30 seconds it will stop the process, but it won't give you an error, right? So that is what continue on error means. That means that if there is an error, see, we do not get an exception, right? And in the output the process was successful. Can you see after 30
Yeah.
seconds? So that means, so we use continue on error whenever we want the UiPath robot to continue even if there is an error. So by default, if I leave it blank, the default value for the Boolean is false. So that's why I told you, right? So those sessions are important because those things will be now used in all over here, right? So continue on error, false, the default value is false. So I can write here false. I can do it like this also, false. And if I leave everything blank, then it is false. Okay. Continue on error. Do you understand this now? Continue on
Yeah.
error. You
Yeah.
understand delay before, delay after, display name, clipping region. Let's do it in a little while because that is not very much important. Selector, you understand, right?
Yeah.
Timeout.
Yes.
Timeout, you understand. This we will look in the web automation. And now this is the text, right? So what is this text? What is the data type here? It is expecting a string, right? So whatever we are typing here should be coming in double quotes, because if I just type like this, okay, let me just go here and type like this, it will say an error that it is not expected because you have to pass in string. And how do we pass in string? We pass the string in double quotes, right? So like this. Now if I have changed it to hello UiPath, it will just take the text. Okay. Now we have these options. Okay. So we will see these options in a little while when we see the input and output options. But as of now, these two are the properties which you will find for everything. So let's say you are writing an automation. Okay. After this, I want you to share your screen and we will develop the automation on your machine only. Okay. So assuming that I want to write, I want to click somewhere. Okay. So if I have to click somewhere, let's say I go here and I click on this button. Okay. So now if you'll go to the properties, see the click activity is also having the same properties. Can you see? Continue on error, delay before, delay after, display
Yeah.
name, but some extra properties like click type. So how do you want to click? So you want to have a single click or the double click. So you can change it from here and you can use it like this. But see, other properties are same like timeout, selectors, and these all are same. Okay. So this was all about, UI element default properties. So where you can get UI elements, you can go to activities and here you have to search for UI automation. So you understand UI automation now, right? So UI automation is whenever we
Yeah.
have to do something on the screen. So all of these elements, all of this, any of the activities here will have these things in common. Okay.